International criticism can be an embarrassment and an annoyance to Xi Jinping, but it isn't going to slow him down. However, even within China, there are voices of concern about the build out of a surveillance state and this move toward techno-totalitarianism. There are Chinese voices calling for more internet privacy, online privacy, and there's concern about the use of things like facial recognition technology and AI. So when these criticisms come out of China, those are a major concern for Xi Jinping, but he's either deaf or indifferent to an awful lot of foreign criticisms.
Robert, do you think it gets to a point that domestic criticism grows? Because in some ways it seems that COVID and the measures that have been rationalized due to COVID have only cemented elements of control in the state.
They have, and Xi Jinping, as far as we can tell, remains fairly popular, as does the leadership of the Communist Party. So when I say that there are voices that object to policies, they are critiques of individual policies. China is not ripe for revolution. But we do see more and more Chinese people calling for a more humane existence and calling for less control. For example, young people are getting married later and having fewer children despite the government's request to have more children. The people who work in high tech are protesting against their relentless schedules, what they call the 996 schedule of working sort of all day, every day. The elderly are saying they don't want to work longer. There's a women's rights movement in China that is gaining steam. So these are not revolutionary or counter Chinese Communist Party forces, but they're people who have become wealthier under the Chinese Communist Party, and they're asking for better, more humane lives. And that's putting some pressure on the party.
Robert, Sam here joining the conversation and picking up on that point specifically. I mean, how does President Xi Jinping strike this balance then, particularly given he has so much power now, you know, when it comes to his domestic audience, but also in terms of how China is perceived overseas? Because, of course, you've got this very serious issue of human rights. What's going to give here when China is not allowing access into this area of Xinjiang and you've got this mounting international criticism?
China judges itself, for the most part, and when I say China, I mean both the government and the people, against its own history and its own experience. It compares itself to its own goals in its past. It's less interested in horizontal comparisons with how the rest of the world is doing. So as long as most Chinese people see their standards of living, their standards of technological well-being, health outcomes, educational outcomes improving, then they tend to support the Chinese government. And criticisms from outside of China, including criticisms about Hong Kong and Xinjiang, are widely seen as attacks on China that are intended to keep China down. That is the government line. And again, no public opinion polling that's very meaningful in China, no elections. But as far as we can tell, many Chinese support the government in that view.